What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the third Mystery Ranger unboxing on the channel. Now, unfortunately, this is a retake. I actually already unboxed her, but I realized right now that I didn't push the record button. So, yeah, I had to unfortunately start this video over. So she's already been, or he or she has been already unwrapped inside the packaging. So I apologize for that. It's not a true authentic unboxing anymore, but nevertheless, I put her back in the box. So, any guesses of who this might be? Will it be a ranger from the same team that we've been looking at in the mystery unboxings, or will it be someone brand new? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Go ahead and leave a comment down below of who you think it might be. But I am going to reveal him or her in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booyah. Alright, so as you can see here, we have, of course, the Lightspeed Rescue Yellow Ranger, Miss Kelsey Winslow. Yep, figured I'd, continue completing the Lightspeed Rescue team, so I went ahead and got yellow next for the, to complete the team. And I gotta say, yellow and pink are very difficult to find, at least these particular versions. You can see here, this is like the most, like the sculpt, like the female sculpt for this Yellow Ranger figure is like, definitely the best physique wise that they've made in the older Bandai figures. A lot of the other Yellow Ranger figures are like more muscular, like a lot more close to like the guy sculpt. And I definitely wanted like, the slim, feminine sculpt like this. And it was really hard to find her on eBay. Her and the Pink Ranger are like very rare, very hard to find. So I was fortunate enough to finally come across a seller who was selling her, this particular version of her. And yeah, so very, very happy that I was able to get this version. And part of the reason for there being like a more muscular sculpt of the Yellow Ranger and Lightspeed Rescue, fun fact is that in the Sentai, the Yellow Ranger, I believe, was actually a guy, so it was a male Ranger in the Sentai version, and then in Power Rangers, the American adaptation, they actually made the Yellow Ranger a female. So yeah, that's one of the differences between the Sentai and the American Power Rangers series. So just a little fun factoid there for those who didn't know. But yeah, this is, definitely the most feminine representation of the, Yellow Lightspeed Rescue Ranger that they have made in the Bandai line. So I definitely wanted to get this particular figure here. Now, as far as this backpack piece on the back, I don't really know what it's for or what it does. Seems like it has a gimmick because I see some holes and it looks like there's like a button here. Let's see if I press it, maybe if it does anything. Not really. Is that a switch or a button? Kind of feels like a switch. It moves a little bit left to right, but it's not really doing anything. And I try to push it in. It doesn't really go in very much either, so I'm not sure exactly what that's for. I'm hoping I can remove this backpack from her because I don't really like it. I don't really care for it. I just wanted her to be like a regular Ranger like the rest that I've gotten so far. So I'm gonna see if I can remove this real quick. Oh yeah, okay, cool, it comes right off. So here is the backpack piece when it's detached from her back. So it actually does have two yellow pegs sticking out the back, and you can actually port those into her back, which I'll show you right here. She does have some holes with screws, and those are actually portholes for the backpack to plug into. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that I'm able to remove this because I wasn't sure when I saw the listing. She had this backpack piece attached to her back, and I thought it was kind of permanently stuck there. And I was like, to me that was pretty odd because I've seen photos of her, like this figure by itself without the backpack thing on her. So I was wondering, like, maybe was it an entirely different figure or release that they did? Like one with the backpack attached to her and one without, or are you able to remove the backpack? And clearly you're able to actually remove the backpack, which is a good thing. So I definitely don't, didn't want that just stuck on her back. I think it's a little janky and unnecessary looking. It would have thrown off the whole aesthetic of the team. Once I placed her next to everybody else. So glad that that is removable. But yeah, I don't really know what it does or what it's supposed to do. The backpack. It seems like it has a clip right here on the side. Like maybe you're supposed to attach something into this clip, and then I don't know. I'm guessing that these buttons are like a sound pack. I'm guessing this is supposed to make sounds, or at least it used to. And then this switch probably does something. So yeah, this is like a whole gimmick thing. It looks cool enough. It's got some nice silver metallic like paint. It's not super shiny, but it definitely does have a little bit of a luster to it. And you've got some nice darker gray paint, here for the holes and right here on the side. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a little closer look at it. Some nice sculpt work on there. Definitely probably not something that I would plug into her very often, but it is nice at least to have an extra accessory for it. But now, taking a closer look at the figure again, one thing that I did notice in the listing is that her color, like the yellow on her suit, is like different from like the torso and the legs. It's like drastically different. Like it was easy to notice when they took pictures for the listing, and I wasn't too fond of that at first. Now that I have her in person, I guess it's not too bad. But I feel like eventually I may end up doing a repaint on this just to try to get the yellows to match better. You can see like on the torso she has a much lighter yellow, more of like a lemon yellow. And then in her legs and arms she has more of like a school bus yellow. There's a lot more orange in the yellow for those parts. And then same thing, kind of like around the knees you get that lighter yellow again, more of like a lemon yellow. Or at least in the area surrounding her knees. Her actual knees themselves are like kind of that school bus yellow again, definitely darker, a lot more orange in it. And then what else? Other than that, her paint job is not too bad. Definitely the white on the gloves is going to be a little bit more, I guess, dingy looking. It definitely doesn't match the white of her, the cuffs, her forearm cuffs, and then the boots. Those are like done in a more pure white, just like the other Rangers that we looked at. So yeah, I would say like the hands are definitely the most kind of dingy of a white. Definitely not as bright as the rest of the white that you see on her, but not too bad again. And if I really wanted to, I could just repaint the hands. It shouldn't be very hard to add some white on top of that, make that a little bit brighter. But yeah, I really do like the overall sculpt of this figure. I was glad I was able to get this particular version, because like I said, she is pretty rare. Her and the Pink Ranger are pretty hard to find. Like with this particular sculpt, there's a lot of the ones with the more muscular sculpt, or like you'll find like the McDonald's figures. I guess like Lightspeed Rescue, they did have like some McDonald's figures at one point. Which seemed, it's kind of hard to tell exactly how big those figures were just by looking at pictures, but I'm guessing like they were probably smaller than these Bandai figures. At least height wise, I don't think they probably stacked up quite as well. But I guess it's something that you could substitute if you weren't able to get your hands on these Bandai ones and you really wanted to complete your team. You could probably find those McDonald's versions on eBay. It shouldn't be too hard. I saw quite a few listings for the Pink Ranger, and I think the Yellow Ranger as well. But yeah, really happy I was able to get this one. And so let's go ahead and put her on the rotating display stand so we can get a nice 360 look. So go ahead and put her on here. All right, and let's go ahead and get some rotation starting now. All right, so there she goes falling. Yeah, it's gonna be a little tricky to balance this one too, because her legs don't really go outward like the guy, the male figures. And so you're gonna have to kind of find like a sweet spot to get her to stand. I think I was able to find it right now, just that quick, so that's nice. Hopefully she doesn't fall again, but yeah, there is your 360 look. Yeah, I really do like the overall aesthetic. You know, something about these older Bandai figures, obviously they're not like on par with Lightning Collection as far as like articulation and, you know, design elements and whatnot, but I really do like the aesthetic of these guys. You know, I will say that I like the fact that Bandai used a lot of rich, you know, saturated colors for their Ranger figures, even if they're not like the most technically show accurate things as far as like, you know, replicating what the actual suits would have looked like, right? I still like just like the vibrancy of these, you know, older Bandai figures. I think they look really good, especially like if you have them display on a shelf. You know, they're gonna stand out a lot just because of the colors are so attention grabbing, which I think is really great. So you know, I think she's gonna look excellent next to red, you know, Lightspeed red and green, which we've already looked at. You know, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the other Mystery Ranger unboxings, but yeah, you know, we've been completing slowly but surely completing the Lightspeed Rescue team with these older Bandai figures. And again, it's a shame that we never got these Lightspeed Rangers in the Lightning Collection line, freaking Hasbro, but you know how that goes. So, you know, without ranting too much about that, we'll go ahead and stop her here. That's our 360 look. Take this out of the way and bring her in for a close-up look. So yeah, man, like I said, I really do like the overall paint job, even though the yellows on her don't match very well. Like I said, she definitely has like that lighter yellow going on in the torso, and then most of the rest of her body is in that kind of more darker school bus type of yellow. But it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's not super distracting, but you know, it is definitely something to note. It would have been nice if the yellows were, you know, more uniform, or if they were, you know, if she was gonna have like this darker color in her, like this darker yellow, it would have been nice if it was like applied strategically so that it would actually give the effect of like shading or something. But you know, obviously this is like a cheaper old school Bandai figure, so they're not gonna be doing all that, right? This is not like a SH Figure Arts or anything like that, so you're really not going to see that kind of thing here. That's expected. This is just a normal, you know, kid's toy, really. But you know, it is still nice, and I think it definitely has enough of the good design elements in it to hold up as like a adult collectible. You know, if you wanted something like this in your collection as an adult, like myself. So you know, yeah, very nice to finally get this Ranger. And I don't think I mentioned it with the other, you know, Rangers that we looked at, but when it comes to the articulation, the heads are static, unfortunately. So like, I used to think that you could at least turn them left to right, but yeah, these figures, you know, the heads really don't move in any direction. You can't turn them left or right. I mean, hers like moves like a centimeter, like left to right, but not enough for you to notice on camera. And they definitely don't go up and down, so that's just something to note. But yeah, as far as like play and display, her articulation, she's able to raise, you know, this is like a ball, I guess, how would I describe this joint? It's not really a, I don't think it's a ball peg necessarily. I mean, I guess it kind of is, because I think if you were to like rip this arm off, you would kind of see like a little peg or something in there holding this, but I don't know the exact name for this joint. It's like it's more of a slot, I guess, than like a joint or like a peg. So basically this arm is attached to where it can, you know, rotate. You can get a full windmill out of the arm, right? A 360 windmill motion from the arm. But it doesn't really allow any, you know, outward movement. So you're not gonna really get out to the side at all. You are gonna get a single elbow bend. So single bend at the elbow there, which looks, you know, good enough. You get a 90 degrees out of that. Putting the arm back down, she does have swivel in the hands, so the hands can rotate 360. The cuffs themselves are static. You know, they're molded to the rest of the arm. She doesn't have any like real torso articulation, but let's see. I guess you can kind of bend her forward. So yeah, she can kind of lean forward that far, which is actually really nice. That's actually like comparable to kind of like an ab crunch joint on a you know, like more standard like Marvel Legends, more modern day figure. So that's actually pretty nice that she can bend forward that far. And then bending backwards, she can go actually really far. Wow, look at that. Man, super far back. That's crazy. Yeah, Miss Kelsey is very flexible, which is actually pretty representative of her character because, she was like she was like very into fitness in the show. If you've never seen Lightspeed Rescue, she was kind of like she would skate, she would rock climb, she would do all types of like outdoor activities, but she was like super fit. Her freaking arms were like toned as hell. I was like, wow, like the definition in her arms and shoulders was actually pretty crazy. But yeah, she definitely was like a very athletic, flexible person. So it's cool that this figure here is actually kind of representing that with the design element. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's really just how the figure is designed. This kind of V-shaped cut for the legs. You get like this kind of like this L shape for the attachment of the legs, like from the sides, and then this kind of like V-shaped sort of cut allows her to it's kind of like a what do you call it? It's like a swivel thing, so it allows her to bend pretty far back and pretty far forward with that joint, and just like the shape of like the way these are attached, like her legs to her, her waist, gives her a really good range for bending forward and back. So that's pretty cool. No thigh swivel, obviously. No cut for a thigh swivel, but she can kick forward very, very nicely because of that. Again, that design, the shape of the legs and like the cutout for them really allows a lot of great forward range. So she can kick really, really high, a little better than 90 degrees. So that's nice. Great high kick. Kicking backwards. Actually, wow, I was not expecting that. So way better than I thought it would be. I was thinking it was going to run into the sculpt, but again, because it's kind of shaped in that sort of like acute cut or whatever, like that acute angle or whatever, you really get like a nice geometry of her leg going even backwards too. So, she really gets a nice kick, like literally about as good as like the front kick. So it goes a little bit higher than 90 degrees, as you can see here. And that's actually really, really good. Wow. She has some insane flexibility. Like way better than most Lightning Collection figures. Most Lightning Collection figures, you guys have seen, enough of my reviews by now to know that like most of the Lightning Collection figures, the leg stops like around like right here because it, runs into the sculpt. But not with her, man. She can really, really get that leg kicking back because of, that whole old school design element. And honestly, man, I wouldn't mind if they brought, that style of articulation back, man. Like aesthetically, people might complain that it doesn't look like the greatest thing, but I mean, just look at the range you can get out of that, man. I think it's like a worthy sacrifice, even if the aesthetic isn't the greatest thing. Like to be able to get that much range kicking back, like that's rare. Like how many times have we seen a figure on the channel that's able to get that much range kicking back? Like that's pretty impressive. So that's really, really nice. Unfortunately, she's not going to be able to do the splits. Like I said, her legs with this, type of design, it doesn't really allow for the legs to go out at all, which is unfortunate. So she's definitely not going to be doing any near splits or anything like that. As far as the knees, you're going to get a single bend, which allows about pretty close to a 90, just shy of a 90 degrees. You can obviously see the kind of like metal pins that were put in here. But this is like the older school figure. And there's a cut for rotation just above the knee, so you can, rotate the lower part of the leg side to side, pretty much 360, I think. Yeah, it can rotate all the way around. So she's like double jointed in certain aspects, like a contortionist, right? She can swivel that lower leg all the way around. No foot articulation or anything like that, right? No foot hinges, no swivel. Left to right or anything like that, but at least she does get that, extraordinary range kicking backwards. I think that's actually like a really cool feature, and you might be able to get some cool action shots out of that if you were thinking about toy photography. But yeah, man, overall, I think that's pretty much all her articulation covered. Like I said, no waist or torso articulation, so she's not swiveling or anything like that. But for what she is, not bad. This being like a much older figure. Matter of fact, let's see if they put it on the bottom. This came out. It says copyright 99, Bandai, made in China. So I don't know if that 99 means like 1999, but that's what I'm guessing. It's kind of interesting that they didn't write out like the full 1999, but I guess that's probably about right. Lightspeed Rescue coming out in '99, because after Lightspeed Rescue was Time Force, right? Yeah, Time Force, and then Wild Force. So I think, yeah, Time Force, I'm gonna say, came out like 2000, and then Wild Force, I believe, was like 2001, 2002. Because Ninja Storm, which I just completed, I just rewatched all of Ninja Storm. That came out like 2003, I think 2002, and then I think Dino Thunder was actually 2003. I want to say so. So yeah, but yeah, so that sounds about right. So I guess Lightspeed Rescue would have been around like 1999, which is crazy. Like that's the cusp, right before we hit the 2000s. So last year of the 1900s. But if I'm wrong about that, you guys can correct me down in the comments. Feel free. But I'm pretty sure, being that that's on the bottom of her boot, that's the year that Lightspeed Rescue came out. But yeah, man, like I said, not too much to her. She just has like that backpack piece or whatever, this little accessory that if you want, you could attach it to her back. I'm gonna leave it off for now, and probably forever, because I really don't see myself using this much unless I'm trying to like make her look like she's powering up or using like a mega battle mode or something like that. But other than that, I'm just gonna have her in the standard Ranger form. It seems, I didn't research it, so I'm not sure if this particular release, if she came with the. Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Okay, on the side of her belt, I just noticed right now on this side, in particular, she has a peg hole. So I'm thinking that she came with, either she had a holster on her side with, and probably came with like the rescue blaster as well, and maybe the baton, or maybe she didn't have a holster and maybe like the blaster or whatever itself just kind of plugged into her side. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up, and then I'll update you guys in the description of the video. But she definitely has a peg hole, so I know something went right here. Just noticed that right now. So I'm guessing she had a holster and probably came again with the blaster and maybe the baton mode of it. I do actually have like an extra blaster. I got her loose off of eBay, right? So I do have that extra blaster from when I was younger with that Red Ranger Lightspeed Rescue Red, from when I was a kid. So I do have that extra blaster. Maybe one day if I can find a holster or something that can fit into the side, into this peg hole, I can give her blaster, or I can just probably have her holding it too, because the hands themselves are about the same size. She has like basically male sized hands. She has gigantic hands on the figure, but that's to be able to hold the blaster and the baton. So I can always give her one of those, or maybe if I'm able to find some of the weapons loose on eBay, I'll go ahead and pick those up so that she can have her own set. But yeah, as of right now, I'm happy just having her weaponless. I think she looks good enough on her own. I really like this sculpt of the helmet too. I think it looks pretty good to the show. The paint job is pretty good around it. It seems a little bit uneven, but again, not too bad. Not too bad. Definitely probably comparable with what we would have gotten in the Lightning collection. She has like definitely a more of like a square shaped type of visor compared to red and green. Red had like more of a shield type of shape, and then green has like a triangle. So that's pretty cool. I like that, like the shapes of their visors vary. I think that looks pretty cool. But yeah, overall she looks pretty good. This is this was a loose figure, so obviously you're gonna see a little bit of like wear and tear here, a little bit of spots here on the boots, a little bit up here on the cuff, but again, not too bad. And then I like the gold color that they use for the belt. I like that her Lightspeed Rescue symbol is painted, all the way. So we got like the blue in all the right spots. We got this kind of like goldish bronze color for the belt and the cuffs. So, that looks pretty good. Front to back. Obviously, she's got the screws like I mentioned earlier, but again, that's not too bad. So yeah, man, very, very happy that I was able to get this particular version of the yellow Lightspeed Rescue Ranger. Like I said, she is pretty hard to find these days. Her and pink, I would say pink is even more rare for sure than the yellow. I still haven't been able to find the pink ranger that is in this same type of female physique. There's a lot of like the McDonald's ones, like I mentioned earlier, or the like more buff pink ranger. But I don't want a buff, who wants a buff pink ranger? She's supposed to be a girl and like a lot more feminine in the physique. So that she doesn't, look weird next to the guys. So hopefully I can find that with time. I'm gonna keep searching on eBay because I am looking to complete this team. But yeah, so there we go. That is Lightspeed Rescue Yellow, Miss Kelsey Winslow. And then real quick, I'll go ahead and put her to the side. I'll go ahead and show you guys an image of what she looks like in the show, in case you have not seen any of the Lightspeed Rescue series, which I highly recommend you check out because it is one of my absolute favorites of Power Rangers. Definitely one of my top seasons after going back and watching it as an adult. But here we go. Slide this in here. Okay, so here we go. Miss Kelsey Winslow, Lightspeed Yellow Ranger. Alright, so that is how she appeared in the show. Alright, so you can see her suit front to back. So obviously you can see in the show, like, she does have a holster, right? She's equipped with a holster just like all the other Rangers. And then she has a blaster. The rescue blasters are like red, but obviously on the older Bandai figures they didn't paint, really add paint. It was just molded in gray plastic for all the Rangers, but that's not a big deal. And if you're somebody like me who likes to paint things, when it comes to figures, you can always paint that up, and it should be fairly easy because they did a lot of really great sculpt work with the weapons for these older figures, so it should be pretty easy to get the paint in the right places as long as you got a steady hand. So yeah, there you go. And then there's Kelsey right there on the side. That's how she looked in the show. Again, a very fit, very fit individual, and she was a pretty good fighter too. So, yep, that is Lightspeed Yellow, how she looks. All right, so here we go. Put this out of the way. We'll go ahead and finish off with size comparisons. We got to do that. So let me zoom out here. Zoom back a bit. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and place her right here. All right. Let's move her over just a little bit. There we go. All right, so first up, you already know we got to get her with her teammates, her fellow team members. So on this side, we have Lightspeed Rescue Green with her, okay. And then on her opposite side, we have Mr. Carter, Lightspeed Rescue Red, the leader. And there you go. And I think they look really, really good together, man. I'm really liking that this team is finally coming together. Seeing all the Rangers together is really, really great. I cannot wait to complete this. I really just need Chad and Dana next, and the team will be completed. If I don't have that Titanium Ranger, obviously, and that would have, really truly completed this team. The only Titanium Ranger figure that I have as of right now is that Super Mega Force, Titanium Ranger, which unfortunately is super small in scale. He's not going to scale very well with these guys at all. I think he's only about like 4 inches tall or something like that. So he's significantly smaller than these guys, so he's not gonna look great with them. But if I can find like a custom of him that is actually like in this type of scale, obviously I'll go for him, and then the team will be truly complete. But until then, I just, my goal is to get blue and pink, and that'll be that. But yeah, there you go. So there is Miss Kelsey with Carter and Joel. So the team is coming along. It's coming right along. So let's move these guys out the way. Next up, we'll get some more of the 5.5-inch line Bandai figures. We've got the Ninja Flash, Ninja Storm Red on this side, and then we have Dustin, the Ninja Storm Yellow, on her other side. And yeah, you can kind of see some of those coloration, differences even in this Yellow Ranger that I have as well. Like for example, his forearm cuffs and then his boots are like in a lighter, more like lemony type of yellow, very close to like her torso, whereas like the rest of like his thighs and whatnot are in like a darker, yellow, just like her basically, kind of like more of a school bus yellow. So I think that was just kind of like a common thing with a lot of these older Bandai figures, unfortunately, those paint differences or whatever. So I'm thinking what the case might be is that they probably molded it, the figure, like in this darker type of plastic, and then they probably painted the lighter sections. They probably used like coats of like multiple coats of a lighter yellow on top on like the portions that you see that show up lighter. So that's a little unfortunate. He even has it too, and like it's pretty stark on him. He's got the darker red in the upper thighs and whatnot, but then like a much lighter red for the boots. It's not so noticeable on his cuffs, that they're lighter, but he definitely, you can see it in the boots how much lighter it is than the rest. So that's just something to note with these older figures. But yeah, there you go. Height wise, I think she stacks up pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So there you go. Let's move them out the way. And let's see, for some more Ninja Storm, we'll get in the green Samurai Ranger from the Ninja Flash line. And then we'll bring in a Kelzak Fury on this side. Alright, so there you go. You see the Kelzak is actually a little bit bigger than her. I would say he's actually like the tallest out of the three right here. He's a little bit taller than the Green Ranger as well. But yeah, nice buff Kelzak Fury right there for you. And so yeah, that's how they stack up. And again, she's definitely the shortest, so I think that's appropriate. Let's move them out the way. Let's bring in some female figures. So we've got Ninja Storm Blue from the Ninja Flash line. Alright, for some girl power. We've got Ninja Storm Blue, Miss Tori on this side. And then on the opposite side, we'll get In Space Pink, Miss Cassie from the Lightning Collection. So there you go, there's your first look at a Lightning Collection comparison, and she's definitely a little bit bigger, as she should be. Yeah. So yeah, Miss Cassie is definitely the tallest out of the three, as she should be, but there you go. There's her with some more Girl Rangers. And for one more Girl Ranger, we'll bring in the Dino Thunder Yellow Miss Kira Ford on this side. Okay, if I can get her standing up, there we go. Alright, so there she is with another fellow yellow. See what I did there? Some rhyme action. Bars. Alright, and then on this side we have the retro card Black Cat from Hasbro. Alright, so let's move this over just a bit so you can see that a little better. Alright, there you go. So yeah, Black Cat is definitely the tallest out of the three of these. She's got some height over both of these Yellow Rangers. Obviously more over Lightspeed Yellow, Miss Kelsey in the middle there. But yeah, that's how they stack up. I think that looks pretty cool. Alright, let's move them out the way. Who we got next? We'll bring in the No Way Home Matt Murdock from Marvel Legends. This is the Matt Murdock based on the Netflix Daredevil series. And then we have, for a Toy Biz comparison, the Spider-Sense Spider-Man. This is the red and blue version. All right, so there you go. That's how they stack. I think they look pretty good together. Matt there is, definitely got some height on her, and Spider-Man has even more height on her, so there you go. All right, move them out the way. Let's get some more Rangers up in here. We'll bring in Dino Thunder Red from the Lightning Collection, so you can see a Guy Lightning Collection figure next to her. So we've got Mr. Connor McKnight next to her on this side, and then we'll bring in the Legacy White Ranger, Dino Thunder White, who is a little bit taller in scale. Remember, he's about 6.5 inch scale, so even taller than Connor here. But yeah, you can see he towers over. This White Ranger towers over her, and he's even taller than this Lightning Collection Red Dino Thunder as well. So there you go for your size comparisons. All right, move them out the way, and then for some villains, some 5.5 inch scale villains, we've got Vexicus from the Ninja Flash line, and then we have Lothor as well, who is like a mostly static figure, but just so y'all can see some size action. You can see Lothor is a bit bigger than her. Vexicus is almost the exact same height as her, maybe just like a hair taller, but he's almost, perfectly on par with her as far as height goes. So there you go. We'll move them out the way. Last but not least, for McFarlane comparison, McFarlane Toys, we have the DC Rebirth Deathstroke, and then the Age of Ultron. For Mafex comparison, we have Age of Ultron Mark 45 Iron Man on this side. See if I can get homie to stand. There we go. All right, let's zoom out just a bit here. A little more. Okay, there you go. Back it up just a bit. All right. So there you go. And yeah, obviously Deathstroke is towering over her. This Iron Man is, pretty much too. He's almost the exact same height as the Deathstroke, the McFarlane Toys Deathstroke, maybe just a little bit shorter actually. So, but yeah, they are both well over her in height. So yeah, that probably wouldn't work out too well if you were trying to do some action scenes together. But it is what it is. This is a pretty tall Iron Man. I have to say, like, as much as I like this figure, I feel like Mafex definitely made him a little too tall, because Robert Downey Jr. should not be that tall. Even in his iron suit, he should not be like almost like 7 inch scale. So yeah, that's just something to note. But yeah, there you go. And that's gonna do it for all these size comparisons. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Mystery Ranger unboxing. This is our 3rd one we've done on the channel. And yeah, I'm just happy again to be completing this Lightspeed Rescue team here. And my hopes are to get the blue and the pink next, whichever one comes first. But at the end of the day, I definitely want to have at least all 5 of the core Rangers. And if I can find a really good titanium Ranger that's in scale with these guys, that'll be great, because that'll be truly completing the team. But until then, we'll see what we get. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, if you could do your boy a favor, leave a like on the video, leave some comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Did you ever have any of these Ranger figures growing up, or what are your thoughts on these particular figures that Bandai did from way back in the day? Are you digging the style of these? Do you feel like they're worthy substitutes of the Lightning Collection figures that never got made? Let me know all of that down below in the comments, and I'll be happy to have a discussion with you down there and chime in. But yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. If you're new, please subscribe, man. And I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I have noticed that the subscriber count has been going up on the channel lately, so I just want to say thank you to all you guys. I definitely noticed that thing. I check my YouTube every now and then. Pretty much every day, I'll pop in and just kind of check out the the numbers, and I definitely see them going up. So I want to say thank you to all you guys. Really, really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the content. And yeah, so have a safe weekend. And yeah, keep doing your thing. Stay safe out there and be positive. And I will see y'all in the next video. So peace out. Lightspeed Rescue.